Let's take a look at a one-to-many relationship in Laravel. This is probably the most common of the relationships, and it basically states that there is one owner and that owner has many of the secondary property. And what I mean by that is the example we're going to be working on today. Today we're going to be working on a user has many posts. So a user can have an unlimited amount of posts, but a post belongs to a user. So I have a fresh Laravel installation here. So let's start working from scratch. Let's make a new model, PHP Artisan, make model for a post, and go ahead and give me a migration for that. There we go. We're going to keep this very simple for the example. Let's go to the post, and let's just set guarded to an empty array. That way we disable mass assignment. And let's go to the create post table, and let's just keep it very simple. This table is going to have a string for a title and just a text for a body. And of course, as always, it's going to need an unsigned big integer for a user ID, because of course each post belongs to a user. So we need that here to reference the user ID. Now we are going to be using Laravel's user table that it comes with without changing anything at all. All right, so we have that, we have that. Now let's go ahead and migrate our database. So PHP Artisan migrate, and there we are. All right, so that is ready to go for us. So let's set up these relationships. Let me pull up the post model, and let's add a new public function for user. So remember, a post has one user. So return this belongs to app user class. Perfect. Now we need to go to the user and do the same thing. So let's go over here to user, and at the bottom, let's add a new public function for posts. Notice that this is plural, not singular, because remember, a user has many posts, so it needs the plural posts. And in here, we'll say return this has many. What does it have many of? Well, it has many app posts. And that's it. Our relationship is good to go from there on out. So a user has many posts, and a post belongs to a user. Perfect. So let's jump into the web routes just to have a quick playground here. And let's whip up a post. So we can say our post is going to equal a new app post. And we want our post to have, of course, we know it needs a title here. And we know that it needs a body. So we'll just say body here. So at this stage, we have a post, but we haven't saved it to the database. Let me die and dump it just so that you see what we have. Let's jump to the browser, and there we are. We have a post, and we have two things, but notice that it is not persisted. We need to persist it. And so to persist it, we actually need to make a user. So let's make a user here at the top. We'll say our user equals, let's use our factory and say, give me an app user class, create one of those for us. So at this stage, you could do several things, right? So the long form of this is that we would actually pass in a user ID, and we can say, well, the user ID is going to be the user ID. That makes sense. Then we can call post, save. So this is obviously the long form. Let's see what happens. Hit refresh. It says that the body was not found. Let's check out what happened. Create post table. Ah, I misspelled that. Body, not body. All right, perfect. Let's try it again. PHP Artisan migrate fresh. There we go. Let's try that again. There we go. Now it's working. So we can tell that it's saved because we actually have an ID, but we're having to pass in a user ID. So let's jump back to PHP Storm, and let's check out the short form of this. So we can get rid of this altogether. What we could do is use the relationship on our user model. So that would look something like user, and then we're going to call that posts, and then we're going to say create. And to this create method is what we're going to pass in this array right here. So let's cut that out. Let's put it in here. And now we no longer need any of that. And then we can simply say, grab the user and give me their posts. That way we get all of the posts together. And if we hit refresh, we have another one. So there we go. So that is working exactly the same way. You see that the user ID is being set for us, even though we are not actually telling Laravel how to do that. So that's pretty cool. So we have that now. But what about updating? How do we update this post? Well, there's several ways that you can do that. For example, what if I want to take my post and then I'm going to say, give me the first one. That way I have a post instance. And then I want to overwrite the title. Let me actually jump this out of the die and dump. So the title is going to be new title. But then I want to save all of that. So we can actually say user push. What that's going to do is save the changes to our post. But notice that I'm calling push on user, not on post. Let's see what happens now. Hit refresh. Actually, we don't get anything. We do need to die and dump. Let's die and dump something else. Actually, you know what? Let's return our user post. That will give us a JSON array. Refresh, and sure enough, we see that we have new title here. So that's how you would update a relationship. Just to drive the point even further, let's go ahead and change the body as well. New, better body. How about that? So now we're going to push those changes, and then we're going to fetch that. Let's see. Refresh. So now we have new, better body and new title. So that's how you would update the post through the user relationship. Now, of course, in the long form of this, just to show you the difference, I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to say, all right, so my post is going to be user post. And then I could say post title equals new 123. And then we can change the body to body 123. And then, of course, I can call post, save those changes for me. All right, let's try that now. I'm sorry. User post, this needs to be first. That's going to return a collection, and then we have first. All right, let's try it again. There we go. So we have new 123 and body 123. But of course, that's not ideal, because imagine that you had 2 or 3 different relationships and you're trying to save everything at the same time. So of course, the nicer way of doing this, let me return back to what we had before, is to do it this way. You're going to make all of your changes, and then on your parent model, you're going to call the push. And push will automatically push all of those changes over into the relationship without you having to go in individually and do one at a time. So there we go. That is a one-to-many relationship in Laravel. Now there are a couple of more methods that you can call, like SaveMany or CreateMany, that will help you create several posts in one single shot. So I suggest you go check out the one-to-many relationship in the documentation if you're in need of something like that. But for now, this will cover the basics of a one-to-many relationship in Laravel.